going to create a video tutorial to show you how to do a walkthrough, create a walkthrough from start to finish. So we're going to start with new, and then we go to new Google form. And at any time, if this goes too fast, you can just simply pause it and rewind it. So just feel free to do that. I'm going to call this experimental walkthrough. And hit OK. And start with the first question. Make it very simple. Teacher name. This particular script likes to have it just be the email address. So at this point, I use, instead of multiple choice, I usually use choose from a list. And right now, I'm going to put my own name in there, so I don't have to worry about anybody else getting the email. But you can just keep adding your teachers that you have on this list and just keep going down. Hit done, go to the next item, and on this one, I'm going to say I want a multiple choice answer, and I'll just say a simple question of were teachers or were students engaged? And you can do all sorts of different questions. I'm just going to say yes and no. So I'll choose between that, and then I'll just make it another one, just say a comment field. So comments, but again, feel free to add as many of these as you want, depending on what you might have for what you're looking for and what you want to keep track of. So once that's saved, or once that's created, you can see that there's the live form, and that's what it's going to look like. And we'll go ahead and close this down. And now through your drive, you should be able to see that we had experimental walkthrough. Here's the responses. So we're going to go to the responses and double click and open that up. And the reason why we're doing this a little bit different than the old version on Sheets is that the old Sheets didn't have this add-on feature, and the add-on feature is different, and we haven't found the right add-ons that will work with this process. So we're going to have to steal a script from the old Sheets, put it into this one. So at this point, we've got just the typical response that you might have, and form responses down here in the bottom. And if I then go to the form, and I say I want to go to the live form, I'm going to enter my name in here. So I'll use my name and say yes, or engaged, great job. And of course, you put a lot better than information than that, but just to get something submitted in there. And so now here's the information that's in there. Okay, now the key is, how do we get that script into it? Well, I copied a script from the old one and I put it in a Google Doc. And if you want to have that Google Doc sometime, I can share that out with you, and you can do it. So it's a form emailer script is what it's going to be called. I'm going to open that up. And there is a script of all the information that you don't want to ever retype. So I'm just going to select all and then copy that, put it in my memory, and I'm done with that, so I can put it away. So now I'm in my worksheet, and I want to put that into the script. Well, the script usually is in the tools form, and I'll go to the script editor. The script editor then usually has one blank edit in there, and first it's going to ask me, I'm going to create a script for what? And I'm going to create the script for the spreadsheet. It loads one of the other codes that's already here, so I'm going to say I want a new script file. Ask me to name it. I'll call it a mailer. Okay. And then at this point, I'm going to wipe this out and then paste in that information that was there before. As you can see, you don't want to have to type all this, and this is where script writing becomes very difficult sometimes. So being able just to push that in there is really nice. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this other code up in here, so I can go ahead and delete that. Don't really need it. So I have this mailer form in here. I then want to go to my function. I want to save it. And I'll call this form emailer, which was the name of the program originally, the script. So now I have that, it's saving that project form emailer. So now I can select a function. I want to do an install. So I'm going to hit install, and it's going to run that. And so I can go back to my my item here, and well, first I'm sorry, I need to go here and hit run. So it's running that installer. It's going to make me authorize it. Hit continue. And it's going to ask you, do you want to allow it to have access to it? And you say yes. So then it runs that function of install. And then the other thing you want to do is create a trigger. So a trigger tells it when to run. And so you need to do that. So we're going to go up here to resources and say current project triggers. And there aren't any triggers yet, so I'm going to I'll click here for a new one. It should be time driven. Instead of every hour, we're going to say a minute timer, and it checks every minute. I'm going to hit save. So now it's going to do that, install that process. And at this point, I can just close that down. I'm done with this part of it. Come back to this screen. Now the installer has run on the sheet, and so it's going to say, okay, where is your form's responses? It's in this form response here. Let's say install. So it's going to then run the script. It adds a new column to that level, and then it creates a second sheet in here of information. When you come to this part here, you can come up to this form emailer and go to settings. And on the settings, it runs that script, and it allows you to do some different things. So the sender's name, you can say this is Principal Williams, and you want it to go to somebody. So the to is the placeholder over here. It says insert placeholder. Well, here's what the answer is. So we don't want the timestamp to be in there. We want the teacher name, because that's where the address comes from. So this is my address, so it's going to send me a copy. I hit a comma, space, and then I insert the placeholder, and it puts in the teacher name. So pound, teacher name, pound. You don't have to figure out whether or not you capitalize things. It just does that automatically. Subject is, you can change that. You can say this is a walkthrough, 14, 15, whatever you want. And then you can change these things here too, but this is what's going to do. It's going to give you your timestamp when you did it, and then your columns or whatever you created for your information, and then put whatever you entered in there right behind it. So we hit save and close. So now we go to the form response side, and it says, okay, it's already sent the email. So probably before I change those, it didn't send me a different one. So I'm going to go back here to the form and I want to go to the live form, and I'm going to again change or put my name in. And this time I'm going to say no, comments, you're fired. Of course, that would never happen. Hit submit, and close that form out. Enter this information in here, and then within a minute or two, we'll see that it's going to go through here, check the script, and then send it again. And see that here, there's a walkthrough. I did get an email already. So let's go take a look at our email and see what it looks like. So I'm going to go, came from Principal Williams. That's the name that you had in there. Came to both my email and the other email you sent it to. This is our title of it. And these are the values that you had incorporated into there. And I hope that would never happen. Here's our other one that we had. If you don't change it, it goes to just the form emailer, and it sends it to yourself. So you need to make sure you add the other person to that column, so it goes to the reads that teacher name and sends it to that teacher name. So you have to make sure you put their email address in there correctly, and then it puts that information in there. So that's how you can create a walkthrough form and have it sent to your people. Hope that helps.